Hey, welcome back to another video today. Judge Mathis and representing a drug kingpin as a lawyer. I'm interested in what he's gonna say. Y'all know what to do with the subscribes and everything like that. And let's get it, let's go. No time to waste.
Okay, so you got your actual law license in 1989, 1990? 1990.
Yes.
Okay. So now you're officially a lawyer.
Yep.
And what type of law do you practice?
Criminal defense.
Okay. So is criminal defense and social justice the same thing or no?
Well, they're tied together in the sense that many instances as it relates to law enforcement and black folks, there's a lot of injustice there. And a lot of it is race-based, as we've seen with the police shootings over the years. We know that there's a disproportionate amount of black men in prison. 1 million black men in prison, over 50% of the population in prison, only 6% of society. Black folks are 13% of society, 7% women, 6% men, 6% of society, over 50% of the prisons.
Whoa, hold on. Let me write that down. 6% of society, over 50% of the prisons. That doesn't seem right at all. That does sound crazy. That's crazy. So he became a criminal lawyer in order to debate these type of conversations, because I know you guys aren't really thinking that that's logically possible. Well, not logically possible, but that's socially sound. That makes sense. That 6% of the population is over 50% of the prisons. That's crazy.
And I knew that most of that came from the injustice in society, the poverty, the economic deprivation, removing the jobs from our community, replacing them with drugs and guns for us to kill ourselves with. And then those left standing, you submit them to this criminal justice, criminal industrial complex where you make money off the backs of the people that you have neglected and you failed. So having that world view on society said yes, social justice and criminal defense go right together. In many instances, they don't get due process. We're seeing something like that now with U.S. residents. I don't know if you call them citizens or not, but they're certainly residents. They reside here. They're being expelled without due process, in my opinion.
Man, okay, hold on. He said a lot right there. Okay. They walk hand in hand, okay? I have a question for the comment section, right? I've always wondered this, what people think, you know, and I don't know. If we can prove that businesses moved out, poverty seems to be more, we know for a fact that poverty seems to be where more crime is relegated to, right? Overwhelmingly, a lot of black communities are in poverty, and we can also prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the government had some hand in the drugs and guns that are put in the community. Was anyone forced to do it? No. But if you remove jobs and things like that and people need to feed their family, what do you expect them to turn to, right? Here's my big question, right? If we can prove all that, why don't we fix it by reforming the justice system, finding ways to put businesses in the community to help, and giving people that were involved in these kind of things a chance to be re-inducted into society? Why is it that when you go to prison, it seems as though the only way that you can escape, there really is no way to escape, almost in a way. It's like you go to prison, and then this record is put on you, and then you can't get jobs in places that you need to get jobs, and it's harder to live. You have to actually find better ways to live. Why? Why? I guess this is the even bigger question for me. Like, I got a lot of questions, y'all. Y'all can answer them too. I know the answer to these questions. I just want to see what you guys think, right? Actually, I don't know. Not gonna ask that question. But yeah, U.S. residents, they're not getting due process. The argument will be that they're not fully citizens. But he's saying blacks didn't get the fair due process either. But I also want to say this, that even if they did do all this shit, right? I know for a fact that it would never, we could never fully do it, because prison systems actually fund entire communities. So they just removed the shackles of slavery and threw everybody in prison. That's what they did. Look up black code.
Okay, so now you're taking on criminal cases, and I'm assuming as a young lawyer, you're not getting like big kingpins that are spending $500,000 on their defense. You're helping out people that probably don't have a lot of money.
Well, I had another lawyer who helped with the king. I was bringing the kingpins in. I was bringing the really guys in.
Okay.
Yeah, because I knew them. I just left the street.
Those are your friends.
I just left the street 6 years earlier.
Okay.
And all those guys, they never left the street. And so I never left them. Like, I wasn't at their houses or kicking it with them. But I meet you at the bar. Let's have some champagne. I know you're getting down. Coming there with a ton of jewelry on in your Mercedes, all that. I'm looking like a struggling law student or struggling political aide. But fine. We still down together as friends. And so, in that sense, I remain friends with my guys. And many of them respected me, so much so that some of them left the street and came with me, and I was able, that's one of the proudest things of my journey, is being able to bring some of the brothers with me once they turn their lives around. I have several who have become very successful businessmen that I assisted. One runs our 10,000 square foot Mathis Community Center in Detroit for me. All of these guys come from prison, they come from home, and I meet them at the gates. I meet them right there, and I have them volunteer first at the community center just to see if they're ready for the real deal. If not, we prepare them, give them pre-employment training, etc., and try and help them and give them business opportunities as well. So that's what I've done throughout my journey, is to continue to bring those with me whom I left behind.
Well, in a lot of these drug cases, though, there's so much overwhelming evidence that, even though they're your friends, you're going to fight the best you can. I'm sure some of them were going to prison during that time, right?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what was it like representing somebody that you actually know, and then next thing you know, they're getting 20, 30 years?
It's part of the culture. It wasn't anything that you never lift your eyebrow. People were getting 10, 20, 30 years, and it was like a day, overnight, because of the 360 law. 360 grams, 680 rather, a kilo will get you life.
A kilo will get you life.
Yes. Yeah. That was the Rockefeller law in the state of New York.
Wow.
Russell Simmons, shout out. He worked against that to eliminate that. We had it in Michigan as well. And shout out Jeff Edison and others helped eliminate it there. So that's was getting 1 kilo, which was $35,000, $25,000, would get you life in prison.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Thank God for Obama. He came out and changed the mandatory sentencing and began granting clemency to many of the folks.
That's another thing. Like, Obama did so fucking much. People don't understand how much he did. And I just really want you guys to listen to what the fuck he just said. 1 kilo got you life in prison. Life in prison. You could be a pedophile. You could be that and not get life in prison. You get life in prison for 1 kilo. That's crazy. That's crazy. With stuff that they put in the community in order for the community to suffer, man. Everybody tells me that the ghetto was an experiment. I'm not everybody, but I've heard this before, that the ghetto was an experiment by the Nazis. They even called the things that they threw Jews in Jewish ghettos. Interesting enough, man. This stuff is crazy, man. I like learning about it, though, man. I've learned so much about it and the laws behind it, and I wish more white people were educated on this topic, because then, like, the conversations wouldn't be as hard to have with them. But they don't understand that I don't know, some of them don't understand the laws, but we'll get our white brothers one day to understand it. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.